Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian Barrera here, CEO for LC Innovation. In lieu of what's been going on with Bill Belichick this week, the embarrassment, the ridicule he's been facing for the horrible loss they just had against for UNC, the University of North Carolina, the horrible loss he had for his first game back in college football against the TCU, Texas Christian University. I mean, they got smoked. There's no other way to say it. It was funny because they were winning at first. I believe they were up 7-3 or 7-0, and then they just got demolished after that. But in lieu of the ridicule that he's facing, I just want to share with you guys a video that I believe Bill Belichick's the greatest head coach of all time in NFL history. I believe that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time in NFL history. I believe that they needed each other. I believe that Belichick needed Brady a little bit more because Brady won the Super Bowl after he left New England with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Undeniably the greatest quarterback of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Belichick, and I wanted to explain to you guys how much Bill Belichick has motivated me and inspired me to create business models or grab business models and put his spin on it of what he's done with the New England Patriots, put his spin on the models that I've learned. This model in particular, we're going to go after. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it after this video more in depth. We're going to talk about this is the balanced scorecard. What you're seeing right now is the balanced scorecard. It's done. It's book called Strategy Maps. Got this book while I was at Pepperdine University's Grazia Deal Business School. But yeah, it's Strategy Maps by Robert Kaplan and David Norton. Incredible book, and they created the balanced scorecard, which is the BSC. I'm not going to go into the details about it. We're going to get into more depth in another video. But however, I just want to show you this is how much I was inspired and putting Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and Robert Kraft and what they did with the New England Patriots into a business model that I learned, the BSC, the balanced scorecard. It made me understand the model even more, right? So there's four perspectives. We'll go into that later. But what I'm going to show you is that the organizational discipline, the organizational structure that they had led them to get some really good data analytics, some really good results. They're data analytics driven. They got the greatest results from the internal processes that they had. You're talking about success after success, two dynasties. And because they were able to really understand who they were as an organization, they were able to have good internal processes, great practices. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. And because they had great internal processes, everyone saw it. They got more primetime games. Referees gave them less penalties, less drops, more favorable contracts, all that good stuff. So again, everything touches each other, right? Everything, it leans on each other. They know who they are, and because they know who they are, they get great results. And because they get great results, they get great contracts and great partnerships. And because they do that, they get profitable gains, all that stuff, which means the owners are happy. They're able to pay players what they want. They become a destination for free agents who are about to retire and want to win a Super Bowl. And of course, they won 6 Super Bowls with 9 appearances. Lost to the Giants twice and then lost to the Eagles. But yeah, that's how it is. You build your foundation. Everyone knows what to do. People start seeing it, and then you start making money. Like that's literally the way it is, right? But in the context of Bill Belichick, you talk about knowing, and we're gonna get into this in the next video, but I just want to talk to my football heads right now, my football junkies right now. You talk about knowing football. You talk about knowing it, right? Position importance. We all know that Bill Belichick always runs with the running back committee. He has his plotter, which was like LeGarrette Blount. He's got a plotter. He's got the elusive running back, which is why he drafted Sony Michel a few years ago in the second round, which he hardly does. He usually drafts running backs in the fourth to seventh rounds every year. But, that's what he did. He drafted Sony Michel expecting him to be the second down back, the elusive running back. And then he's got a third back, which is the not the bell cow. The bell cow is the first round, the first down back. He has the pass catching third down back, right? Blocks very, very well. Drop percentage is very, very low. James White was like the prototypical model for a third down back for Bill Belichick's system. Then let walk after peak. You talk about how many players walked after their rookie deals were done. After their rookie deals were done with the Patriots, they walked, or he would sign them to massive extensions. But here was the key. After those 4 years, he would trade players in their fourth year, or he just let them walk for peanuts, right? Or what he would do is he would give them massive extensions, And as soon as you start to decline, he knew exactly when to cut you, or he knew when to even extend you even further. But the moment you hit that peak, right? Data analytics driven. Once you hit that peak, he would pay you. But once you start to decline even a little bit, if you went from the best player at your position in the NFL, if you were the best linebacker in the NFL, he would pay you. But once you drop down to the fifth or sixth best linebacker in the league, he would cut you, save some money, or he would trade you and get more draft picks. I'm telling you, this was the discipline that Belichick had, and whether you loved him or you hated him, this is what he did. He knew exactly when to cut you. Look what I put right there. Know the market, when to cut, when to extend. Know when to overspend or when to underspend, right? If you look at Randy Moss with the Patriots, Randy Moss, one of the top five greatest receivers of all time. If you look at Randy Moss and what he did, incredible. His best years were with New England. Well, you could argue Minnesota too, but statistically speaking, with Tom Brady, his best years were with New England. They didn't win a Super Bowl. They did not win a Super Bowl. He was there for only 3-4 years and then he left. Again, Belichick gets you in your prime, and I'm sorry, it sounds very, very, I know these are people that we're talking about, but he gets rid of these players once they start to decline a little bit. And he gets so many draft picks. And because he gets so many draft picks, it allows him to miss if he has to. So if you remember that we talked about Robert De Niro movies, there's a scene in Heat, the movie Heat with John Voight and Robert De Niro. They're talking about they got files on Al Pacino, they got information on Al Pacino's character, but De Niro's talking to Voight, and Voight's telling him pretty much, I know how good you are. You're good, but this guy's good too. This guy's a night crawler. He's always out there lurking, right? He's just like you. He's a master of his trade. He always works 24/7. But he says something which is just absolutely bonkers to me. And I see the movie probably once a month just to see this line because it motivates me and inspires me. But he says in there, he says, you can make you can't miss. He can make a few misses and still keep going because he's a cop, right? He's a cop. Like he can afford to miss. You can't make one mistake with this guy because he can make mistakes. And if you make one mistake, he will catch you. He's a cop. De Niro's character is a con artist, right? He's a con. He's a thief. So, anyways, the reason why I bring that up is because Bill Belichick's system, right? That's kind of the way he does it when it comes to the draft. He can miss. He can miss constantly because he gets so many draft picks. He gets so many draft picks that he can gamble on those draft picks. He can get multiple linebackers to get that one stud. He can gamble on multiple cornerbacks to get the stud. Um, but again, Bill Belichick, wide receivers, he doesn't really draft them until later on in the draft. He will not draft them first. And we're going to get into that later in the Tom Brady video, which is the next video. But that's what Bill Belichick does. He knows exactly where to get the people. He gets his wide receivers in through a trade, or he gets them through uh, waivers where players are cut, or he signs them for peanuts in free agency. Look at the wide receivers he's had. I mean, Danny Amendola was with the Miami Dolphins before he got to the Patriots, but what did he really do with the Dolphins? Not too much. Wes Welker, I believe he left the Patriots to join Peyton Manning in Denver. He had one good year, and then after that, he kind of fell off. It might have been because of age. Julian Edelman spent his whole year with Tom Brady. Incredible stuff. Gronk didn't want to play with anybody else besides Brady. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is that um, Belichick knows where to draft players, where to sign players, where to trade for players, when to cut players. He knows, and he's so disciplined at that. I believe towards the end of his career with the Patriots, he got a little less disciplined, and it kind of hurt him in the long run. But very precise. He knows the rule book inside and out. He knows the CBA inside and out, the collective bargaining agreement. The rule book, I forgot which book I read. It might have been O'Connor's or Connor's book again, but one of the books says that Belichick is so animated at the annual referee meetings. He gets up, he talks to a referee. He'll grab a referee by the shirt. He'll grab him or pull him or he'll push him or something, and he'll do it at the 5 yard line. He'll tell him, "Are you going to call foul? Are you going to call penalty on me here?" He says, "Yes, I will." So then he goes to the next referee. He says, "Come here," and he does the same exact thing. And he tells the referee, "Hey, are you going to call a penalty?" He's like, "No." "Okay, well, you guys got to get your stuff together because you're telling me you're going to call a penalty. You're telling me you're not. I need to go tell my guys exactly what we need to do." And if they come back and say, "Okay, we're not going to call a penalty," in my mind, Belichick probably goes back to the facility, tells all his wide receivers that want every cheat code out there because they're not that tall, they're not that fast, they're not your prototypical wide receivers, but they have the tendencies, they have the intricacies and the characteristics and the traits that Belichick needs for Tom Brady's for Tom Brady's acceptance, right? So Belichick needs to get the wide receivers that work best to Tom Brady's gifts, which we'll go over into the next video. But that's what needs to happen. So Belichick gets those players. He knows they need to know the rule book. He knows they need to know the playbook. He knows they have to pay. They have to play extremely well at their position, not extremely well based on the NFL standards. They need to play extremely well based on what Tom Brady needs, right? So top players believe in system. They take less money also. Tom Brady was notoriously underpaid his whole career pretty much, as he took a lot less, so that way the Patriots could sign some of the top players in free agency in positions where Belichick knew he had to overspend, right? So then that jumps into the next step. If you have your system and you're successful, we kind of talked about this already, but look at all the stuff that Belichick does. There were some years where he drafted 14 players. He knows free agency. He watches the waiver wire closely. He knows the collective bargaining agreement. He knows draft compensation. He knows to let people go in order to get a draft compensation, contractual structures, all that stuff. Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, Wes Welker, on rookie contracts, gets rid of some players when their contracts expire. But he drafted these guys. He didn't draft Hogan, I believe, but he got him in free agency. You know, didn't pay him that much money. And the moment Hogan wanted more money, he left. LeGarrette Blount left 2 or 3 times. Um, he went to Philly, I believe, to be their elusive running back, but he fit Belichick's system so well. Belichick knew exactly when to use him. Look at that draft, running backs 4 through 7. Then he would drive offensive linemen, defensive linemen, cornerbacks, or linebackers rounds 1, 2, and 3. He knows he had to hit home runs with those players early, right? He knows the trade deadline, right? He gets rid of players after their peak for draft picks. Look at the players he's drafted: Gronk, Hernandez, and then recently too. One thing I love that Belichick did recently, I mentioned that he was kind of out of character for him to draft Sony Michel a few years back um, after Brady, but look at what he did with Jonnu Smith and with Hunter Henry. Jonnu Smith from the Titans, Tennessee Titans, Hunter Henry from the San Diego Chargers or LA Chargers, whichever team they were at the time. But check this out. This is pure Belichick right here. When he had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, the Patriots were on a roll. Gronk tearing it up. Belichick knows the importance of a tight end. And in my other video that I just posted yesterday, we talk about tight ends and their importance. Tight ends are so important for their quarterbacks, right? Especially for young quarterbacks. But because he had Mac, I forgot his last name. He was a Jaguar too. Mac, not Mac Miller. No, it was Mac. I forgot Mac's last name. But he had the young quarterback that he drafted after Brady. He immediately ran after two of the best tight ends in the market, Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. A lot of people were like, why would he get these two guys in free agency? Because he knows how important these tight ends were for the development of a young quarterback. He gets ring chasers. He knows how to get ring chasers. People that Junior Seau, Randy Moss at one point, even though Randy Moss was still in his prime at the time. But yeah, Junior Seau, Aqib Talib, countless other players that he's gotten that were chasing a ring. And he likes it. And then these older vets, he would get them on 1-year deals, right? So that's the next step. And then once you do that, once you understand your foundation, like I already claimed, once you understand your foundation, once you start hitting home runs, you know that you're missing out on some players as well, but it's okay because you get 12 to 14 draft picks a year. You can afford to miss. Remember the Heat example I gave? You can afford to miss a little bit because you're so disciplined and you're actually calculating on missing. So because you're calculating on missing on an employee that you're going to hire or a draft pick, because you know that position there's turnover, but you're still putting yourself in a favorable position where you can get more draft picks or more chances to hire the right employee. That's what Belichick's doing, right? So because you do that, you can miss a little bit more, but your chances of hitting are even better on getting a new employee or drafting someone because you know your organization, because you're performing well. Then people start to notice it, right? Less penalties. Belichick teams are notorious for getting less penalties. Healthier players because you have a good system. You have an abundance of players. You're not focusing on one player playing the whole game or having to play hurt. So you have healthier players, less drops and better route running, not playing from behind often or negative yardage. That's the biggest thing. You notice when you watch the Patriots, when is it like 3rd and 15 with those guys? When is it 3rd and 20? It's always like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. 2nd and 1, second and 3. Like they always need 3 or 5 yards to get the next first down, and it's usually the second down where they need it. 2nd and 3rd, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 1. Like It's so incredible because they know their system. Tom Brady gets rid of the ball in 3 seconds or less. We're going to go into the next one. But they know exactly what they got to do, which makes more favor. And then also, too, they get more favorable contracts. People want to join them. People want to learn their system. They want to win. And when that happens, 6 Super Bowl wins, 9 appearances, pay players that perform, top money, free agency destination. Robert Kraft's making money. Just cool stuff. But yeah, this is my balanced scorecard on Bill Belichick. I think he's the greatest coach of all time. I think what he built with the New England Patriots is it's gonna be hard to duplicate that. But man,